Hey guys, it's Ricky from Games Bandit. How you all doing? I'm not doing so great. That's the gist of this video because I'm in the midst of being scammed to the value of over $2,000 through eBay at the moment by a buyer for an item that I have recently sold. It should be a pretty open and book closed story. Unfortunately, I got notification today that it's gone in the buyer's favor and that he would be receiving a refund, which is extremely unfortunate given the circumstances, all the facts. That's what I'm here to talk about today and hopefully get this overturned. So I'm kind of using this YouTube video as a means to be able to get through to customer support through eBay because I've had a bit of a trouble over the last 2 weeks. I've spent 9 hours and 22 minutes with them on the phone, but I just haven't been able to get the traction I need or to be able to speak to the correct person, which is super unfortunate. I seem to be in a bit of a feedback loop where I use the contact us support, get them to contact me, they call me within 2 minutes, I then go into holding, speak to the person, give them all the facts about the case, walk through the case with them, they say, yep, we can clearly see that this is not correct. In fact, two other people specifically said that there's no way that this should be awarded in the buyer's favor, yet they aren't the person that can help me. They have to transfer me. Excuse me, I also got a bit of a cough, and this is a bit of a dry run video that we're going to be doing in one hit. They transfer me through. I then go on to someone else who I think is in the right department. I retell them the entire story, and unfortunately, I'm then told that they're not the right person to speak to. I get transferred again. Sometimes when the line is transferring and I'm on the call waiting, it just stops. It's as if the person picks up the phone and puts it back down, or it's if it gets disconnected some way through the line. Now, it's not because, there's an issue between me and eBay. I'm quite cordial. I'm cool, calm, and collected. I just stick to the facts. I'm just really keen not to be out of pocket to this sum of money, because as a sole trader running a small business, a big hit like this is completely crushing. Completely crushing, as you can imagine. So, instead of me explaining myself to the person on the phone and then having to wait for them to review all the case notes and then to get back to me and pass me on to the next person, I thought, you know what? Let's make a video. Let's make a video showcasing all the details. That way, every time I get transferred or every time I get pushed through a chat line with them, whether it's, through the phone, messenger, email, I can quickly just copy this video link, paste it to them, and they can get all the facts in one hit, review this video, and be on the same, get in alignment with me, because it's very obvious to me what's happened here. It's also fairly obvious to a lot of the eBay individual staff people that I speak to that are adamant that there's something not right here. It doesn't make any sense. And we're not talking small dollars. If this was $17.70, I'd say whatever. But I am out of pocket for the value of One Piece War OP02 English Sealed Booster Box case, which has 12 booster boxes in it. Now, the item I sold was for $2,000. Shipping was, I posted as $100. Ended up being $130, $140, something like that. I didn't bother hitting up the buyer. I thought, whatever, I just needed the cash flow. I wanted to get it in quick. It was a very quick sale. I was struggling to be able to move it in Australia for its retail price, and so even less than its retail price. So I quickly propped it up onto eBay, thinking I make a bit more of a quicker sale because it's got a lot more eyeballs. So I charged a tiny bit of a premium in order to get it up. So total order was $2,273, sales tax included on that, and then my order earnings was $1,770 because they take the sales tax away in addition to the transaction fees, or eBay's fees. It's like 12.5% or something like that. So I am out of pocket, even though the sales for over $2,000, I'm out of pocket $1,770, which is a lot of money for me. I can't stress, and I imagine a lot of people, anyone watching this is going to say, damn, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of hours, Yeah, it's not even funny. I can smile. I can put a smile on my face because of how absolutely ridiculous this whole situation is. But anyway, let's walk you through the case. And of course, if you have a different opinion to mine, write it down in the comments below. If you think maybe I'm actually in the wrong and the buyer is in the right, by all means. I'm going to go through the full context of the case itself. That way, we have everything from start to finish. I'll probably not go through every single minute or every single line, but you'll get the general gist of everything. Excuse me. So, the item is for a One Piece Paramount War OPO2. I put it up. It was sold like that. Some guy in the USA, regularly, don't sell internationally, but was happy to put it up on the wider scale of eBay. I do sell quite a few things via eBay. I've probably sold over thousands of things, and every time I get on the call waitings with the eBay person, they always say, "You've been with us for 16 years. Thank you for being a loyal customer." So, I'm a long-term seller. I've got 420 positive feedback. I have 0 neutral feedback, 0 negative feedback. This is also in line with the fact with my Facebook scores and also my Google gamesbetter.com.au scores. So, you know you're dealing with a pretty good egg. We're not going to try and rip someone off for a couple of quick bucks and completely destroy our our reputation in the meantime. Apologies for coughing into the mic. I'm going to do my best to get it out of the way. But I'm just kind of strolling with the video. The buyer in this case is username ZYGC21. Name is Shreed. I'm going to leave it at that. I've specifically covered, as you'll see later in the photos, I've specifically hidden his address, phone number, email. I don't want the guy doxxed. I don't care about, if anyone gets their pitchforks and want to go, I don't want that. All I want is my money back. I just want justice and for the right thing to be done here. So as you can see, I'm up against a guy with less than 10 feedback, and only one of those being in the last 12 months. So, relatively inactive account versus a very active person who's been in the fold for 16 years, according to them. So, how did it all begin? Sent the item over. Now, the chap says, in his first message to me, I received an empty box, right? He's received an empty box. The initial weight on the label from Australia says 9.5 kilos. But the label from LAX to UA644 shows as 001. Now, I'm not going to click into these individual ones because they have his address, but I've got a modified version here of the label with, obviously, the red marking out his address, detail, phone number, etc. So what we've got here is the guy recognizing that I've put 9.5 kilos and I've sent it off. Now, anyone that... Oh, the chat box is up on the right. Let's get rid of that. I didn't even realize that was there. Apologies about that. How do we get rid of... Okay, cool. Okay, so whenever you send anything internationally, they always have to check the weight that you put through, and they'll also do a dimensions check. When you enter them through the business account, per your document, it'll all be checked off. What they're doing here is office use only, is weight checked as 9.5 kilos. They're specifically checking that the item aligns with what the seller is giving to them. There's a whole number of reasons why they would do that. The number one reason is for security, right? If I said I'm sending over an item that's 1 kilo, but it ends up being 30, 40, 50 kilos, that's going to be transported on a plane, something's suspiciously up, right? It's probably not going to be right. You've also you've also underpaid for postage by doing that. So we know for a fact that when I've gone to the Australian Post office to lodge it, if I've put 9.5 kilos here, they have to check this. I can't... And anytime... I remember quite a few probably about a year ago. I had to send something very small to someone. It was like 150 grams, the item in the package. I didn't know at the time what it was going to weigh when I did it, so I put 500 grams. They made me go home, cancel that label, remake another one with the correct weight. And the number one reason they told me was for security. They just can't. There's too many internal protocols for them to be able to allow a package like that. Not just at the front line at the post office. Excuse me, I'm very sorry about this, guys. But you just can't, right? You just can't do it. So, we know for a fact that I've sent a 9.5 kilo box. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna struggle getting through this. I'm gonna do my best to get through this. We know for a fact I've sent a 9.5 kilo box. Right? That you can't contend that. What the guy's saying is that this other label over here says that its weight is 1. Right? Now, I've never seen this label in person. It's not something I printed. Obviously, when it's gotten from Sydney to LA, to put it on its correct path, what they've done is they've printed it off. Probably at their end in LA, they get the package. It's already been prepaid by Australia Post. This is a label that isn't printed by me, as you can tell, because the date here is the 7th of February 2023. Sorry, I should say the 2nd of July 2023. This is done in the format of a US date. You do not write Australian dates like that. Now, I signed my package the 16th of the 6th, 2023, gave it over. That's what the tracking says as well when you go back through Australia Post and you check it. So it's gone. It's gone to LA. This company, or the internal Oz Post International, has used this so it can clearly be passed on from one plane, LA, to UA 644, which must be Texas. So, this isn't a label done by me. I've never seen this before. I tried to enter that label number in there, 24Y PMD JZB $01. I tried to enter that into like a into a like a search database for postage. Couldn't see it. But what is weird is that this weight thing is 001. Now, let me tell you something. If you've ever sent a box or weighed a box does not weigh 1 gram or 1 ounce. It just doesn't. I think that by default, because it's already been prepaid and it's already got the actual correct dimensions and weight on the postage on the Australia Post stamp itself, on like the actual printing pack that I provided, that they've just by default just gone 001 and just sent it. Right? That's what common sense tells me. Now, what I did to prove this point was incorrect, because that's what the guy's saying. The box is empty. I haven't opened the box. The box is empty because 001 is the weight. I didn't actually have any OP02 or 01 or 03 boxes or case boxes remaining because I'd sold them all. So I messaged the Australian TCG group for One Piece, and I said, can anyone please weigh this for me? Because I know for a fact weighing stuff, having to send stuff daily, hundreds and thousands of packages each week, each month, that boxes do not weigh 1 gram, 1 ounce. They can weigh 200, 300, 400, 500 grams, some even bigger, right? So a chap weighed it. He made a video and weighed it. It weighed about 468 grams or 480 grams. I can't remember. I'd have to pull up the screenshot. And I thanked him profusely because I was like, great, this is the evidence that I need to be able to illustrate that this label alone doesn't justify that he received an empty box. That doesn't make any sense. And even if it was empty, wouldn't weigh 1. 1 of what? It doesn't say anything. I don't even know if WGT... I would believe that that would mean wait, but I don't know that for a fact. It just doesn't seem right. It seems like a default setting. Someone's just trying to forward it in. As you can see on the left here, that's where the original, you know, the actual posted slip is, which you can see here. Has all the dimensions, it's been checked. I doubt that they're going to re-enter it in again to get it checked. I think they'd be relying on that main one. So, for someone to say, I haven't opened the box, or the case, but here, the weight's different. So, I want to send the... you've sent me an empty box. Like, that's not cool. That's making that as an opening statement doesn't make much sense to me, right? I don't think you can fall on that. I would think, if it's me, I would take photos of the box, which he hasn't done at any point. We'll get there. We'll get to that point in a little bit. So, in response to that, so he's put through the original message to me directly. 2 minutes later, he's put through a buyer return request. He's written, I received an empty box. I've not opened the box, so he's still not opened it. It's not open. But he's claiming that it's empty because of the label in this original message. So I returned serve here, right? I wrote back exactly as I've just explained it. Now, I'm not going to read this verbatim because I've pretty much summed up all the points in that chat that I just did. That they must check. The clerk has to do it. You can't just... A box doesn't weigh 1 gram. It is what it is. You know, open the box. I'm sure you'll find that the items are in there because I think the guy is trying to take the mickey out of the, you know, the buyer protection here. So, his response was, don't play stupid game with me. This is 001 as in 1 pound. How do you know that? First of all, there's no weight dimensions on it, and I don't think that they're going to use rounded pounds without a decimal point when everything you send in mail is done by gram and by, I assume, ounces in the States. And then he further says this. I was able to confirm this at the USPS, the United States Postal Service, USPS. Let me just triple confirm. United States Postal Service. Great. Let me tell you this. He confirmed it with the USPS. I did not open the package because it clearly doesn't weigh anything substantial. The printer label was printed by you, not by the official mailing office. Which I kind of clarified that, yes, I printed that label, the Australia Post one, but I did not print the secondary one from LA. The box is not packaged properly. The item logos and everything can be clearly seen on the box. Even if the item was stolen in transit, it would be your fault for packaging. Number 3. Before we get to that, so the guy's saying the box is clearly labeled with the icon and logos, and then so he knows what it is when he's getting it. We'll get to that in a second. Even if the items were stolen in transit, it would be your fault for packaging. That to me, as soon as you start throwing all these random arguments, that type of behavior I've seen with other scammers who try to get away with these types of things. Hey, it's your fault, even if it got stolen because of the packaging. Makes no sense whatsoever. If you said to me, the items were damaged in transit, here's photos of the items, the box has been in, da-da-da, it's your fault because the packaging was poor. I'd have to evaluate the photos and the packaging. Sometimes you can't control what a contractor or the post office does with it. Other times, yeah, sure, if you package it badly, then I don't disagree that you are liable for damages. But he's saying here, if the item was stolen in transit, it would be your fault for packaging. That doesn't make any sense. What is he trying to... What kind of a packaging does he want me to do? Put, like, locks on it so that when it gets to his doorstep, he can unlock it with a code that I give him? No one does that. If someone's going to steal something, they're going to steal it. That's where it doesn't make any sense to me. And let's go back to his original point. I was able to confirm this at the USPS, that the box was empty and it doesn't weigh anything substantial. Can I just say... He's saying here that the box was not packaged. The item logos and everything can be seen on the box. So, when he goes to pick up the box, or whether it's delivered to him in person, you clearly know what you're picking up. You would have been following the tracking. If I had a $2,000 item in, I'd be tracking it every day. I'd be like, where is it? I want to make sure it's not left anywhere. I want to make sure it's on its way. All that good stuff. So, what he's saying is, he's gone to the USPS, as far as I can understand this, right? He's gone to the USPS postal service, postal office, or he's got it delivered. They've given him an empty package. They've been able to confirm with him that it's empty, according to him. If I went to my local post office and I'm expecting a 10 kilo package, and by the way, 10 kilos, you can't just like lift it up. You'd know what it is. You'd be lifting it up. If the items are clearly on it, that's what it is. You'd know how heavy it is, right? I just wouldn't accept it. I'd tell the clerk, listen, sir, clearly this box is empty, and I'm expecting a 10 kilo package, or something significantly heavier than what I have received, right? I'd tell him, look, I don't want to accept this because if I accept this, I may be liable, or if I do accept this, I'm going to take photos of the box. I want to take photos of the box at the post office, me accepting it. They might be funny about it. I know my post office lets me take photos and videos when I'm packing stuff and whatever else. They're really cool with it because, you know, they don't have a problem. They want to make sure you handle the situation correctly. So the guy is saying that he's accepted this empty box, but he clearly knows what it is. He says it's clearly seen on the box, the logos. I just wouldn't accept it. I would have said then and there, that's not right. Something's not right with this package I've paid $2,000 on. I wouldn't take the box and then take it home with me. And even if I did, even if I mistakenly did, right? Someone did it on my behalf. Maybe only my wife was home. Don't know. I'd be taking photos of it. Now, he claims he hasn't opened it. I'm going to get to that point right now. What the average person who's not in TCG games, trade collectible card games, may not understand is that sealed are about is that cases, for them to obtain their value, need to remain sealed. Okay? So whenever someone buys a sealed case, 12 booster boxes, it is sealed in its original factory print from Bandai. And the reason why that's important is so people can't manipulate the box, the case, I should say. How would they manipulate it? Well, if they opened up the case and they traded out some of the... And they let's say they open up the case and they open up some good booster boxes, they would know that the remaining booster boxes are going to be duds or bads or not have as high value cards, right? And so by leaving the dud boxes in there, they can do that with another case, opening all the good stuff, which has a set limited amount of, and then they could take the dud boxes from that case, put them into one case altogether with the original case, and seal the case up. Just tape it up and be like, here you go, okay? So scammers can manipulate cases by doing that. Now, you can't manipulate a case packaging, so to speak. Once you open the case, it becomes extremely obvious. And I'll give you an example that I've got right now. This is a sealed case from Bandai. Not the same product. I don't have One Piece on me. This is Dragon Ball Z. And it's sealed at all the various points. And for you to break that seal, and if you were to retape it, it's very obvious, right? And so investors or collectors or anyone buying a case needs to ensure it's sealed. They don't want it opened, right? Now, I know for a fact that I sent him a sealed case. If he took a photo of the case being opened, I would know for a fact that someone's tampered with it. It may not have necessarily have been him, but it may be a clerk, it may be someone else. But here's the thing, he doesn't want to voluntarily provide a photo of the case. Because I would know for a fact that he was scamming me if the case remained sealed. Now, that may not change eBay's ruling because they may not know this, but if he took all the photos around all the various points where you can open the case and it showed that it was still the original tape, I would know for a fact it's sealed and it hasn't been adjusted and that the guy is lying about it. But he hasn't provided that photo, okay? Now, I would have thought, if I was trying to prove an eBay case, to say I got a box that was empty, in other words, it'd been opened at some point, because that's what an empty box is, I would provide photos of that. Now, just because let's say he did provide photos of an empty box, it doesn't mean he wouldn't be scamming me, because what's to stop him from just opening the case and taking out the booster boxes? Nothing. But he's just not voluntarily doing it. And in my opinion, he's remaining it in its original state and not taking photos of it because he wants it to retain its value of being a case. If the case was opened at some point, yes, the booster boxes individually still have value, don't get me wrong. But if you're trying to sell to a serious buyer of much higher value, because those cases can sell $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 in the United States, much bigger market, much more money there, higher buyers, then it would need to remain sealed. If I got a single photo, or all the photos of the main pinpoints of it, where you can open the box, and I knew it was untouched, I would know for a fact. Now, if I got an empty box, I'd be, there's so many ways that he can show that it's been opened, it's been emptied. Photos, scales, video. Just by saying that it's empty is ludicrous. Imagine if everyone opened up a case on eBay and said, "Oh, I've got an empty box. It's not 10 kilos, it's an empty box." And then they just awarded you based on that alone. That is garbage, right? So there's just too many things here that don't align with me, and I know that the case will probably remain intact. Now, he could open it, and he could sell the individual booster boxes. No, doesn't matter. But I would be doing, if I've got ripped off $2,000, I would be doing everything I possibly can to prove my case. Just like I've been on the phone with eBay for 9 hours and 20 minutes, just like I'm creating this video right now, trying to effectively communicate my story with the people that make the decision. So, I've gone up here and just said that there's so many things wrong with this, is that, I'm not going to read it verbatim. You've got the gist already. If you want to stop the video and read anything I've posted, go for it. No problem. Clarifying that Australia Post wouldn't have sent an item. They wouldn't have accepted the item if it was not what it was weighed to be, for various reasons, right? Kind of explaining the story. And then his response to that is, "I will let eBay handle this from here." And I've even said to him at the bottom, "I think you've been caught in a lie here, and please do not buy from my store." I don't want him to buy from me ever again. I don't think he would. Obviously, I'd never send him anything. I did say to him, I rang eBay, because at this point I knew what was going on. I rang eBay on the 3rd of July, and they said to me, "Don't respond anymore. Don't feed into this. You've provided all the facts. The authentication high value team need to evaluate the case and make a decision for themselves." I think he's just trying to make a quick buck out of this and abuse eBay's protection, to be honest. So he's then responded, "I will let eBay handle this from here. You have not addressed my 3 points mentioned. A scammer like you will obviously try to find a way not to do a refund." So his third point, by the way, was, for an item worth over $2,000, not using FedEx or UPS. I'm the seller. First of all, there is no UPS in Australia, and FedEx, that you could probably use them here, but it's not common. Australia Post, the government postal service, is by far the bigger picture. If he's trying to say that I'm scamming him because I used the government Australia Post system from my country of origin of the sale, that's complete crap. If he's telling me that it's my fault that it was stolen because of the poor packaging, that's complete crap as well. I don't understand if he wins this case based on, oh, you didn't use... And by the way, if anyone ever reaches out to me and says, hey, I would prefer you to use this postal service, sure, I would take that on for their order. No problem. I'd have to evaluate a few different things. If it costs more, I'd say, look, you're going to have to pay more if you want that service. If it costs less, charge them less. Whatever. That clearly didn't happen. But the career service system doesn't change anything. I'm not gonna use UPS, United Postal Service. Like, who does that? His further reason why I've scanned is, I will include one more message off eBay record. The label you print has 9.5 kilos in the office use only section. This section should not have a value printed, since it's marked by the postal agency. Makes no sense. So this is what he's talking about. Here. Office use only 9.5 kilos. I enter the weight. The weight gets printed. They check on their side if it's all good. It goes from there. At no point does anyone write anything. It's all automated when you put it into Australia Services postal system. So, I said, per the phone calls and messages that you can see, that the buyer's clearly trying to scam me. And then I also say, look, here's a video that a box, even empty, of OP01, OP02, the case from One Piece, shows that it has a weight of 484 grams. There you go. Not 1 gram, not 1 ounce, nor 9.5 kilos. And the clerk on the phone tells me, do not send anything, okay? Do not send anything further. In addition, don't send him a return to buyer slip. So a few days passes. I hear nothing about this, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried. So Monday, on the 10th of July, I ring up. I speak to a few different people. I get transferred, as I said in the original start of this video. And I'm told that a supervisor will be calling me. And then they hang up, like, don't worry, we understand, high value, item, high value customer, we don't want to lose you. A supervisor will call you within this week. By Thursday. Cool. And by the way, eBay, if you're watching this, you can verify all this information by simply all the eBay recordings are recorded. All the eBay phone calls are recorded as per the start of the phone call. So anything that I've said here, eBay, feel free to go back through all the various chat logs or the various phone logs. You verify all this information. So I said, great. No problem. Put the phone down. 4 days pass. It's now Friday. It's now Friday today. I get a message from eBay about this at 2:20 a.m. in the morning. Hi, my name is Moni. I'm reaching out on your behalf of eBay's Authenticity Guarantee team regarding the One Piece Paramount box. I recognize it can be challenging when a buyer alleges the package is empty, but you suspect they are scamming. Reaching out to you today with an update on the claim. While reviewing the case details, we can confirm we see the case was placed on hold for 5 days on July the 8th to allow for the return to be arranged with the buyer. Since the time frame has passed, we've not seen an attempt to arrange a return shipping. A refund has been issued to the buyer. You can still communicate with the buyer messaging if you'd like to return it to you to avoid these issues, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Makes no sense, okay? Here's why. On the Monday, when I called and I spoke to the Irish gentleman, do not send him a return package slip. And we spoke about this in depth. If the box is empty, why would I pay over $100 for him to ship me back an empty box? Because if I end up losing this case, which I shouldn't, but if I end up losing this case, not only am I out of the item itself, the postage sending it there, the eBay fees, I'm also out the return packaging fees. Apologies for my son in the background. He's just with my wife at the moment. They're playing, feeding each other. She's feeding him at the moment. The life of having a young family and trying to do the day-to-day. So, yeah, Tommy, don't send it. Verbatim. He agreed with me. He said, don't send it. You make a very good point. Don't do anything. The case is still pending. So, now, today, the update is, you didn't give him a return package for an empty box, which I still haven't got a photo of. I still have not got a photo of this empty box. Yet, they're aligning with him. Can you imagine if every person literally just had to say, hey, I've got an empty box? What's to stop me from making individual new accounts, buying high-value items, and then saying, I've got an empty box? No proof, no nothing. And even if I sent a return slip, emptying the box and sending it back, that's the problem here. This should be pretty straightforward. The guy's clearly trying to scam on a new account with low tier transactions against a well-established 16-year-old account with 100% 100% practice, 100% blah, positive feedback. No, never had a problem on eBay. Never, ever. So, today, as you can imagine, all I've been doing is been on the phone, trying to call, because once this money gets to this guy as a refund and he's got the box, that's it. It's game over in my books. How would eBay be able to reclaim that money once once a refund is published? You just can't do it. It's not possible. Now, apologies to anyone watching this video for, first of all, the coughing, first of all, not being coherent. This video was not planned. It's not a planned video that I had in mind, with everything down, tightly knitted, with all my points drawn out. I am basing this video on being fast and quick in response so that I can push this to eBay so they can watch this and be like, this guy actually makes a good point. I've spent over 9 hours on the phone with you in the last week, per my time logs, with your phone number of customer support. I'm clearly exhausted from the process. I'm obviously, in a 2-bedroom apartment where you can hear my son crying. I'm obviously not that well off that something like losing $2,000 isn't going to make a big dramatic hit on me, because it is. And that's why I'm fighting tooth and nail to try and get a resolution, a win-win-win. This is clearly a scam attempt. I can't believe how easy it's been, and I really hope that this can be overturned by this video. Someone in detail, some supervisor, some manager in getting it done. And I'm going to be quite honest, eBay. The fact that I've been told several times that a supervisor or a manager is going to call me and there's been no follow-up completely sucks. The fact that I get this, what appears to be an automated review, it looks to be humanized because it's Moni responding, but without actually reviewing the individual case details of something of that high value is absolutely crazy. All this illustrates, this could happen to anyone. This could happen to anyone. If you're a low-tier eBay person selling something and you get scammed, genuinely, good luck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a follow-up video with the result of this, because it's either going to be fixed and justice is going to be served, or nothing's going to be done. And I'm going to lose, and I'm going to take the big hit. Thank you so much for watching the video. Really appreciate your patience. Sorry for being not well. This whole thing's taken a big toll on me, as you can tell. Really hope justice can be served. Thank you so much.